Yeah, don't stand there. That's me making me nervous, man.
Have you ever seen animals so massive they look straight out of a movie? From creatures ruling the waters to giants that defy all expectations, this video takes you on a wild journey. You will meet Lolong, the crocodile whose size stunned the world, and later an extraordinary crayfish unlike anything you have seen before. What other unbelievable giants are out there? Watch closely, because if this was not caught on camera, no one would have believed it. Big Jake. Horses have a way of capturing attention, don't they? Whether they are sleek racehorses speeding down the track or gentle giants pulling heavy loads, each one has something special. And then there was Big Jake, a horse so extraordinary he didn't just turn heads, he made history. Back in 2012, Big Jake earned a world record as the tallest horse on the planet. Standing at 6 feet 10 inches and weighing 2,500 pounds, he was impossible to miss. Interestingly, he wasn't from the famous Shire breed, known for its height. Instead, Big Jake was a Belgian draft horse, a breed prized for its strength and sturdy build. Even among Belgians, though, Jake was one of a kind. Jake's story began like any other foal's, though he was born a little heavier than most at 200 pounds. While big for a newborn, no one suspected just how much larger he would grow. Day by day, year by year, Jake kept surprising everyone. His size came with a big appetite too. Each day, he would eat 2 buckets of grain and an entire bale of hay. That is enough food to keep even the most determined farmer busy. His massive size was matched only by his gentle nature, and this earned him love and admiration from everyone who knew him. Sadly, in July 2021, Big Jake passed away at 20 years old. Though he is no longer around, his legacy as a gentle giant and record holder lives on. Well, the world has a way of surprising us with things that feel almost unbelievable. Sometimes it is a horse like Big Jake. Other times it is something else entirely. Goliath Beetle. Deep in the rainforests of Central and Western Africa is a creature that looks like it belongs in a science fiction movie. But this isn't some alien invader. It is the Goliath Beetle, a heavyweight champion of the insect world. These beetles, which are named for their massive size, can grow up to 6 inches long, and they weigh as much as 3.5 ounces. To put that in perspective, that is heavier than most small rodents. Despite their massive size, these beetles are surprisingly easygoing. They stick to a diet of tree sap and fruit, using their powerful jaws to break through tougher plant material. However, males don't always stay calm when another beetle invades their space. They will use their Y-shaped horns to wrestle with rivals over food or mates. Males are usually larger than females, and their strength is almost unbelievable. A Goliath beetle can carry up to 840 times its own weight. That kind of power has made these beetles a favorite among collectors, and unfortunately, their popularity comes with a price. The females, while smaller, play an equally impressive role. They can lay as many as 100 eggs at once. Their larvae, which can grow up to 4 inches long, spend months eating and growing before they turn into full-grown adults. From start to finish, a beetle's life usually lasts about 2 years. But life in the rainforest isn't easy. Habitat loss and deforestation threaten these massive beetles, and some have found themselves targets of the black market. Collectors will pay a high price for a specimen. This further adds to the challenges the species faces. Despite all these struggles, the Goliath beetle remains one of the rainforest's most fascinating residents. But this isn't the only giant worth talking about. Somewhere else, another extraordinary creature pushes the boundaries of size. Leatherback Turtle. The ocean holds secrets that seem almost too incredible to be real. Among them are the leatherback turtles. These creatures, which measure up to 7 feet in length and weigh over 2,000 pounds, are the largest turtles on the planet. They are not just massive, they are ancient too. Leatherbacks belong to a family of turtles that have been around for over 100 million years. What makes leatherbacks even more remarkable is where they are found. These turtles have the widest range of any reptile on Earth, possibly even any vertebrate. They swim in the warm and cool waters of the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans, and even venture into the Mediterranean Sea. Some have been spotted as far north as Norway and Canada, while others head south near New Zealand and South America. But their talents don't stop there. Leatherbacks are champion divers, capable of swimming to depths of 4,200 feet, deeper than any other turtle species. They can stay submerged for 85 minutes. With such abilities, it is no wonder they have managed to thrive in oceans across the world. The largest leatherback ever recorded was found under tragic circumstances. In September 1988, a massive male washed up on a beach in northwest Wales. It measured over 9 feet across its flippers and weighed more than 960 kilograms. It was a sight to behold, even in death. This particular turtle made history in another way too. Most museums avoid displaying large turtles because they can leak oil for years, but this one was an exception. It was prepared and put on display at the National Museum of Wales in Cardiff on February 16, 1990.
Leatherback. They can grow up to half a ton.
Visitors got the chance to see up close just how extraordinary these creatures can be. But as remarkable as leatherback turtles are, they are not the only giants of the deep worth talking about. Big Daddy. Under the dim blue glow of an aquarium, there once lived a creature unlike any other. Its legs spread far and wide, creating a sight that amazed visitors daily. This wasn't some mythical sea monster. It was a Japanese spider crab affectionately nicknamed Big Daddy. In his prime, Big Daddy held 2 world records. He was the widest crustacean ever kept in captivity, with a span of just over 10 feet. Even more impressive, one of his legs measured almost 5 feet, earning him the title of the crab with the longest leg ever recorded. It is not every day you encounter a crab so massive that it practically demands a double take. But Big Daddy's story wasn't always smooth sailing. He originally faced a grim fate in a Japanese fish market, destined to end up as someone's dinner. That changed when a representative from Sea Life Blackpool stepped in. Instead of meeting the cooking pot, he found himself on a journey to the United Kingdom in 2013. There, in the safety of a cold water tank, he started a new chapter. The tank at Sea Life Blackpool was spacious, just right for a crab of his stature. The staff took their job seriously, ensuring he was comfortable and healthy. They even fed him by hand, a sign of how much care they had for him. Occasionally, Scott Blacker, the display's curator, would wade into the tank himself. His mission? To clean Big Daddy's shell, brushing away parasites that might cause harm. Despite his fame and care, time eventually caught up with the colossal crustacean. In 2016, Big Daddy passed away peacefully, reaching an impressive age of around 80 years. In his final days, he grew slower and less interested in the world around him. For a creature that had seen so much, perhaps it was simply his time. Japanese spider crabs, like Big Daddy, are native to the southern coast of Japan's Honshu Island. These crabs prefer the dark depths of the ocean, where they live in crevices and vents. However, during the spring, they move closer to the shore for mating and spawning. Their diet is as varied as their habitat. These omnivores feast on algae and plant matter, which they scrape off the ocean floor using their long, spindly legs. The same legs are also tools for cracking open the shells of mollusks. And if they come across a dead fish, they aren't picky. Big Daddy and his kind are skilled scavengers, making good use of whatever the ocean offers. As amazing as Big Daddy was, there is another giant in the animal world who might just surprise you with its size. Hercules. They say nature is full of surprises, and Hercules is proof of that. He is not just any big cat, he is the biggest one alive. Hercules is a liger, a unique hybrid born from a male lion and a female tiger. He lives at Myrtle Beach Safari in South Carolina, USA. His sheer size is enough to leave anyone speechless.
Look at this big baby boy. Yeah.
Standing 1.25 meters at the shoulder and stretching 3.33 meters in length, he tips the scales at a 418.2 kilograms. His meals are just as impressive. Every day, he eats over 13 kilograms of meat, about as much as a 2-year-old child weighs. He washes it down with several liters of water. It is a diet that matches his massive size and energy needs. Ligers, like Hercules, are fascinating creatures because they take traits from both their parents. They love swimming, which comes from their tiger side, but they are also very social, much like lions. Interestingly, ligers tend to grow larger than either parent species.
If his daddy is a male lion and his mommy is a female tiger.
Scientists say this happens because of how certain growth-regulating genes behave in hybrids. Despite their incredible appearance, life for ligers isn't without challenges. Their lifespan generally ranges from 13 to 18 years, though some have been known to live into their 20s. Unfortunately, ligers are prone to various health problems. Reports have documented organ failure, neurological issues, arthritis, and even cancer. Male ligers are also sterile, meaning they cannot reproduce, though females can. The breeding of ligers is a controversial topic. Animal rights groups argue that creating these hybrids is unethical, given the health complications they often face. They also criticize the motives behind such breeding, claiming that some facilities do it purely for profit, disregarding the animal's well-being, while responsible wildlife reserves like Myrtle Beach Safari provide proper care for animals like Hercules. Unlicensed operations have been accused of exploiting ligers for commercial gain. Hercules himself seems to enjoy his peaceful life at the safari. He is well fed, looked after, and admired by many who come to see him. However, his existence raises questions about the line between curiosity and responsibility when it comes to hybrid animals. Well, another marvel of the natural world awaits. It's not a cat, but something just as captivating. Giant Manta Ray. In the ocean's wide blue stretches, the giant manta ray stands out as one of the most stunning sea creatures. Its graceful swimming and huge size make it unique. This ray tops all others in size. It also ranks among the world's largest fish. Its fins can stretch up to 29 feet across, making it much bigger than any other ray. For a long time, people thought there was only one species of manta ray. However, scientists later discovered there are actually two. The giant manta ray spends most of its time in the open ocean, while its close relative, the reef manta ray, prefers coastal areas. Despite these differences, both are equally fascinating. What is surprising about giant mantas is their diet. Similar to other huge sea creatures like whale sharks, these animals eat tiny organisms known as plankton. They swim with their mouths stretched wide, filtering their food from the water. To make this process easier, they have unique structures called cephalic lobes. These flaps guide water and plankton into their mouths as they glide along. You will find giant mantas in tropical, subtropical, and temperate waters around the world. As mentioned before, they often swim in open ocean areas, but can also be seen near productive coastlines. They are known for traveling great distances, sometimes venturing into cooler waters for short periods. Though they are mostly solitary, they gather in groups when it is time to feed or mate. One of the most intriguing things about giant manta rays is their slow reproduction. Unlike many fish, they don't lay lots of eggs or have multiple offspring at once. Instead, a female manta gives birth to just one pup every 2 or 3 years. Because of this, their population grows very slowly, which makes them vulnerable to threats. Scientists still have a lot to learn about their life cycle, but some reports suggest these rays can live up to 40 years. Unfortunately, life for giant manta rays isn't as peaceful as it seems. They face serious dangers from fishing. Some are caught on purpose for their gill rakers, which are highly valued in certain markets, particularly in Asia. Others are unintentionally captured as bycatch in large fishing operations. Conservation efforts have been introduced in many places, but the demand for manta products continues to threaten their survival.
Real. That is real.
Now, as we leave behind this remarkable creature, our journey through nature's giants isn't over just yet. Now, it's time for today's subscriber's pick. This jaw-dropping moment captures a crocodile in the wild, holding its prey tightly in its massive jaws. You can almost feel the power and danger just by looking at it. The sheer force of nature is on full display as the crocodile wrestles with the unlucky animal, showing the survival of the fittest in action. If this was not caught on camera, no one would have believed it. It's one thing to hear about the strength and skill of a crocodile, but it's another to see it with your own eyes. This image is a glimpse into the tough reality of life in the wild, where every day is a struggle to survive. It is both breathtaking and humbling to see nature at work in such a raw and powerful way. What animal do you think the crocodile caught here? And would you dare to come this close to such a predator? Share your thoughts. The Tasmanian Giant Freshwater Crayfish. Crayfish are often seen as small and harmless, earning nicknames like toe biters for their playful reputation. But in the rivers of Tasmania, one species stands out as a true giant. The Tasmanian Giant Freshwater Crayfish, also known as the river lobster, is the world's largest group of freshwater invertebrates. In contrast to its smaller kin, this animal is enormous, with a weight of up to 3 kilograms and an overall length that is almost 3 feet. With its dark, hard shell, this crayfish blends perfectly into the rocky riverbeds, making it hard for predators and prey to spot. Despite its size, it is a patient hunter, waiting quietly to grab food that drifts too close. Its powerful claws are no joke. People say a bite from one could easily injure a finger. While these crayfish don't have an exclusive diet, their eating habits change as they grow. Their diet consists of decomposed wood, leaves, and tiny microorganisms. When it is possible to, they will consume insects, small fish, or dead animals that end up in their rivers. They play a vital role in the ecosystem by cleaning up waste and maintaining the health of rivers as scavenging organisms.
Can grow to 6.5 kilo. This bloke here is around 1.5, so you're talking 4 times the weight of this fella.
Among other features, the Tasmanian giant crayfish's lifespan is one of the most fascinating. These crayfish have the potential to live for as long as 60 years. Unfortunately, these magnificent animals are becoming more and more rare every year. It is believed by experts that there are less than 100,000 remaining in the wild, with their numbers continuing to decrease. Overfishing in the past took a big toll on their population. Even though it's now illegal to fish for them, poaching still happens. Human activities like farming, logging, and building near rivers also damage their habitats, making it harder for them to survive. Efforts are being made to protect this species, but their future remains uncertain. Seeing such a giant in its natural habitat is a rare experience, and many worry that future generations may not get the chance to marvel at these fascinating creatures.
Not gonna hurt if I did.
Probably take your finger off.
Seriously?
Not all giants roam the rivers, though. In another corner of the world, a remarkable creature was found lurking near the shadows of a cave. Chinese giant salamander. It is not every day you stumble upon an animal that looks straight out of a fantasy story. Yet the Chinese giant salamander isn't just real. It is a living trace of a world that existed long before humans. This creature, as fascinating as it is rare, holds the title of the largest amphibian on Earth.
Bye-bye. That was amazing. That was amazing.
But let's not sugarcoat it. It is also one of the strangest things you might encounter if you are ever knee-deep in water. Back in 2015, there was a report about a massive Chinese giant salamander discovered outside a cave in Chongqing, China. This particular salamander tipped the scales at 104 pounds and measured an astonishing 4.5 feet in length. Experts guessed it might be around 200 years old. If this is true, it could be one of the oldest vertebrates ever documented. While salamanders in captivity can live over 50 years, one this ancient is practically unheard of. Its discovery sparked hope, especially for scientists working to save these unique creatures. For decades, their numbers have been in free fall. Once a common sight in China's mountain streams and clear, rushing waters, these salamanders are now extremely rare. They thrive in cool, rocky streams and lakes, feasting on crabs, lobsters, and fish. But it is not just their size or diet that sets them apart. These animals have a strong place in Chinese culture. They are even called wawayu, or baby fish, because their cries are said to resemble the wails of an infant. Sadly, the Chinese giant salamander's story is one of survival against steep odds. By the 1990s, their numbers had dropped by more than 80%. What caused such a drastic decline? Human activity. Overharvesting, driven by their high value as a luxury food item, led to relentless hunting. Even worse, poachers began poisoning entire streams to kill off these salamanders and make capturing them easier. Despite being officially protected by the Chinese government today, enforcement of these laws is weak, and the damage from decades of exploitation has been hard to reverse. Yet the discovery of a giant salamander as large as the one in Chongqing gives conservationists a glimmer of hope. It suggests there may still be a few hidden in remote corners, waiting to be found. Could they make a comeback?
Underneath the crevices in between rocks and then work their bodies against the current as they're walking on the basin.
That remains uncertain, but every finding helps scientists better understand what is left to protect. There is something haunting about the Chinese giant salamander, its ancient appearance, its eerie cry, and the way it clings to survival despite everything. But this isn't the only creature whose size leaves people in awe. There is another incredible animal whose story comes from the water too. This one, however, left a mark so big it won't be forgotten anytime soon. Lolong. There is something about massive creatures that captures human curiosity. Maybe it's their sheer size or the mystery they carry. Lolong, a saltwater crocodile, was one such animal. At 20 feet 3 inches long and weighing over 1,075 kilograms, he wasn't just big, he was record-breaking. Lolong held the title of the largest crocodile ever kept in captivity, leaving an unforgettable mark on wildlife history. In 2011, the story of Lolong began in a remote creek in Bunawan, a small town in the Philippines. Reports of a giant crocodile terrorizing the area had locals on edge. Livestock had gone missing, and villagers whispered about the beast that lurked in the water.
In the morning, villagers from all around descend on the town's.
The local government teamed up with residents and skilled crocodile hunters from Palawan to track him down. The hunt lasted 3 weeks, and it was anything but easy. Catching Lolong was a difficult task. Around 100 people worked together to haul him out of the water. He didn't go quietly. At one point, he broke free from the ropes that restrained him, proving how powerful he really was. Eventually, they secured him and brought him to land. Experts guessed he was at least 50 years old, making his capture even more impressive. For the community, it was both a moment of triumph and awe. Once caught, Lolong became a local legend. He was moved to the Bunawan Eco Park and Wildlife Reservation Center, about 8 kilometers from the town center. By mid-September 2011, visitors were lining up to see him in his new enclosure. The local council even passed rules to regulate entrance fees, turning the park into a popular attraction. People came from all over to catch a glimpse of the giant reptile, who quickly became a celebrity. Sadly, Lolong's story ended just 2 years later. On February 10, 2013, he was found lifeless in his enclosure. An investigation revealed that he had died from pneumonia and cardiac arrest. Stress and a fungal infection had made his condition worse, leaving little chance of recovery. His death was a loss not only to the people of Bunawan, but also to those fascinated by the natural world. Lolong's incredible size and the challenges involved in capturing him make his story unforgettable. But he is not the only enormous animal that has left people amazed. There is another creature whose size and strength demand attention. Gar. When people think of huge plant-eating animals, they usually mention elephants, rhinos, or giraffes. But there is another giant worth talking about, and it is known as the gaur.
It's a wild cattle in the world. It's a wild Indian gaur. And it's absolutely huge. It must be about 1 ton in weight.
This wild cow from India is massive, standing up to 10 feet tall and weighing as much as 1,600 kilograms. It is the largest wild bovine in the world and an impressive sight in the forest. Gaurs are built like tanks, with strong bodies and large curved horns. They roam through forests and fields and sometimes even wander into farms or gardens looking for food. Normally they are calm and avoid trouble, but they can be dangerous if they feel threatened. While they are less aggressive than African buffalo, humans still have to be careful around them. Despite their size and strength, gaurs face serious threats. Habitat loss and poaching have made them a vulnerable species. Even so, these animals are tough. Most predators think twice before attacking a gaur. In fact, there is a story about a tiger that tried to attack a gaur. The attempt didn't end well for the tiger. It was killed when the gaur fought back, snapping its attacker's body in two. The gaur might not be as famous as elephants or rhinos, but it's just as fascinating. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.